Why, hello there! My name is Kenji Dick.
And I'm Claudia Dewitt.
And welcome to Wittenberg Radio. It is episode 103, and it is September 26, 2017. Claudia, what are two foods that you like that if you combine together would be absolutely disgusting?
Two foods that I like that I would... Okay, well, my favorite food, my thought right away went to waffles with strawberry sauce and, like, Pioneer sauce, like vanilla sauce.
Okay, yeah, nice. Oh,
delicious.
Yeah.
And then my other favorite food, that's always my go-to. And then I'm trying to think what I would put with that I like separately, but together might be kind of weird. Okay, I really like taco salad.
Okay, yeah.
It's one of my favorite real meals.
Yeah. Are you suggesting that the waffles are not real meals?
Well, I don't know. It's just like straight up dessert, probably, actually.
Right. Dessert for breakfast.
Yeah. Except I eat waffles for like Sunday brunch.
Oh.
Or like, not brunch. I mean, like in the afternoon. That's when I eat waffles. Because we make them at like 2, and it's always this big family gathering type thing where that's when my siblings come home and stuff like that. So,
Right.
Yeah, those are always fun because it takes so long to make waffles.
Yeah.
And so you get the whole experience around it.
Yeah.
Now I'm just doing a waffle advertisement. Yeah, so I think if you put like, I don't know, I guess you could do some sort of savory waffle thing, like, you know how they put ground beef in pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that weird of a pairing, but I think if you had the strawberry sauce and vanilla sauce in there too, and then you added like sour cream and salsa, it would be kind of weird. So there's your weird combination.
Okay, well,
that's something.
Taco salad with waffles with Claudia Dewitt. That sounds delish. Serve that up.
Yeah, those are my favorite foods.
Yeah, and they would not go well together.
Is taco salad my favorite food? I don't know. I have a crisis. I always say waffles. People never care about your second favorite food.
Yeah, that's why we're here at Wittenberg Radio. We always ask the unique and tough questions that
I really
people
like
don't
stir
think about.
fry. Really like stir fry.
I like stir fry too, actually. It's pretty dope. I've been getting into a habit to making stir fry noodles for myself for lunch because I get so sick of ramen broth. So then I just like make a stir fry out of the ramen noodles instead. So it'd be pretty interesting.
All right.
Anyways, in a completely clonky transition, it's now time to talk about upcoming events. So the next upcoming event is another entry in Sue Sorensen's classic film series. For the second week, we're going to be watching Ball of Fire, which is a 1941 screwball comedy that follows a group of concerned professors laboring to write an encyclopedia and their encounter with a nightclub performer who provides her own unique knowledge. This is a film starring Gary Cooper and Barbara Stanwyck, and you can see it at the Marpeck Commons at 8:30 p.m. this upcoming Thursday, September 28th, 2017. Hope to see you there.
Another exciting thing that's happening this weekend is the basketball home opener. The CMU Blazers will be facing off against the Ambrose Lions in our home court at CMU on campus.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty good, I think.
Sounds
the women
exciting.
play at 6 and the men at 8. So you can go to either of the games or both of them or find some friends and go see them play.
Ooh-wee.
Should be quite the face-off.
Get ready to see some balls going to hoops, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Yeah. Today, we have the pleasure of talking to Miles Thiessen on Wittenberg Radio. Miles has a passion for music and is eager to talk to you and to us about music and what he finds so great about it. Miles was at Harvest Moon this weekend. I was also there. Harvest Moon Festival. He'll tell you all about it. It's this little cute festival in a town called Crystal City. Clearwater, in southern Manitoba. And Miles has some interesting perspectives to share about this because he's from that area and he's also an avid music listener. So thanks for joining us today, Miles. Welcome to the studio.
Yeah, thanks. It's great to be here. Yeah, like you said, I'm going to be talking about Harvest Moon Festival and what makes this festival so interesting for me and I think for a lot of people that go there. So it's kind of an interesting festival. It's in a really weird location. Well, like, not weird for me, but because, like you said, I'm from there. But it's really far from the city. It's not really close to any other major cities. I guess the closest major city is Morden, which is still like an hour away. But yeah, and they also put a really small cap on the festival. They keep it really small, and it's kind of cool. It makes for a really tight-knit community, if you notice that. Also, another thing that Harvest Moon does is they use like local artists to promote the festival, which is interesting, and it's something that not a lot of other festivals do. That's kind of what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how Harvest Moon uses local artists to promote healthy community, and also to promote the land stewardship, which is something that they are really into. Yeah, and this is different in an age where music festivals are becoming like more corporate and more money grabby. So
That's definitely weird.
So I did a little bit of research on this, and I looked up some of the major festivals in the States, and I took down a list of some of their top artists that are performing. So Lollapalooza in Chicago, they have Chance the Rapper, Lorde, The Killers, Head in the Heart, Arcade Fire, and the XX. Coachella has the XX, Lorde, Kendrick Lamar, The Head in the Heart, Bon Iver. Boston Calling in Boston has Bon Iver, the XX, Chance the Rapper, Francis and the Lights. The list goes on and on. All the festivals have the same artists. So like you could do a tour and see all these artists like 12 times, and it's just the same thing, and it gets a little boring. But like, don't get me wrong, like some of these artists are my favorite artists, like Kendrick Lamar, Bon Iver, Chance, Lorde, like all those artists are incredible. But just like the unoriginality gets boring, and this is frustrating for me for a few reasons, because music is supposed to be original. Like it's supposed to be innovating, and so why aren't the festivals? Like original music is what makes music so awesome, and that's what makes it so fun to listen to. Yeah, and also festivals I feel like used to, like when my parents talked about it, like back in the day, the festivals used to like stand for something, like they were created out of something where like people could get together and voice their concerns about like society and stuff. But the major festivals now just kind of like don't really stand for anything. They just kind of say, hey, come out, pay $500, see these artists, and then you'll get a good photo for Instagram. Yeah, it's like I said, the unoriginality is kind of due to the fact that festivals want money, and they use the same big name artists to get money. And that's kind of something that Harvest Moon does differently. Like I said before, they use local artists to promote the festival, and most of the artists are from Winnipeg, which is awesome. And if they're not from Winnipeg, they're from somewhere close in Canada, like Saskatchewan or something. The festival, they really want the local artists to succeed. I know they've had a couple big acts like Royal Canoe and Begonia and Brothers Landreth there, and those artists have had some like success in the States, overseas a little bit. And so yeah, that's really cool that they want these artists to succeed, and like a lot of people know these artists like personally, they're friends, and then they go to these festivals that support their friends, because why wouldn't you want to see your friend become a famous musician? Also the Harvest Moon festival like stands for something, so that's pretty cool. I went down and I found their mission statement, for the society, the Harvest Moon Society, and it says the Harvest Moon Society is founded in the spirit of cooperation, community, camaraderie, and a shared interest in building a sustainable food system for future generations. What do you think about that? That's
a sustainable food system. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a thing that they're really into, and they
And the workshops. Did you go to any?
No, they were like canceled this year.
No, they weren't.
Some of them were.
Oh, okay. Well, one of them was canceled. The sourdough making one was. But I went to one about like soil and how we understand soil and all the different ways to like measure soil, and things like that. And there was one on knot tying.
Oh yeah, I know a few people that went to the knot tying.
People got really into knot tying. but Harvest Moon also offers these workshops that you can go to during the day, when there's also little like smaller music like things that you can see going on. But the workshops are really cool that they offer that in this setting as well, where you can go and explore kind of what the Harvest Moon Society is apart from the moon. Harvest Moon Festival.
Yeah, totally. Like they like are trying to educate the community about land conservation and like where our food comes from.
Yeah.
And then also you can learn cool things like tying knots and how to bake bread.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do a lot of cool work like that, which is something different from other festivals. Yeah, so there's really an intention to this festival, unlike a lot of other major ones that you go to.
Were there any like specific artists that you saw that kind of piqued or maybe you discovered or piqued your interest in local musicians?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's this band called Slow Leaves, and like I knew them beforehand, and then when I saw the I guess the artist list that they had posted, I was really excited because Slow Leaves is like one of my favorite Winnipeg bands, and they do some really cool stuff with like trying to think of how to describe them. I don't know, they got this really cool like upbeat folksy sound to them that and the songwriting is just incredible. I think that's part of why I love them. The artist is amazing, his lyrics are incredible, and he knows how to write a good tune. Yeah, it's really cool. Like you gotta like meet all of these artists. Like you'll see them perform, and then you'll see them walking around, and you can just go and say, "Hey, that was an amazing set. You did a good job." And they're like, "Oh, thanks."
Yeah.
And then you gotta talk to them about music and like how they made their album. Like, I ran into the main guy from Slow Leaves, and I chatted with him about how he made his new album and like what it meant to him, I guess, and kind of like. Yeah, he said it was really cool making an album and it doesn't always turn out the way you want. And I was like, what the heck does that mean?
Right.
I was like, you made an incredible album. Did you want it to be better? I don't know. But
yeah, there's definitely this personal touch of you being able to really contact anyone that's there. Because it's so small and you run into them, and it's funny when you realize that people that you think are just other festival like goers are actually like performing and are really awesome people that can do a lot of cool things. So.
Yeah, it's really cool how you can just like like I said, it's like such a small festival. It makes such a good community, and you can just meet new people. And
there was one band, were you there? They're called Double the Trouble. They're these identical twins that fiddle and sing, and they covered Sound of Silence, like Simon and Garfunkel. Esque, and you'd think, I don't know, somehow when I say that out loud, I think like, oh, you know, who would do that? But then I saw them, and they have this unique, really good blend. Like they sing in unison, and it's like this identical twin thing, I guess, where they have this really, I don't know, I was just blown away. They were so good, and they both had this weird stage persona too, where they were wearing like sunglasses and had this weird like they were trying to be serious, but they had this like smirk on their face, and their harmonies were on point, and then this like kind of traditional folksy like fiddling then also juxtaposed with this, I don't know, fun sounding, I don't know, they had just this. Really look them up. They're only 13 years old. It's crazy.
Are they the ones where their dad was backing them up? Yeah.
I really liked it. They were so good. And it's just funny that this is the sort of place, like Harvest Moon is where people like that kind of get a platform and have really appreciative listeners that come and see them for what they're worth, I think. Or it's a very generous audience.
Yeah, it's also weird like the different like types of artists that come. Like they had the Dirty Catfish Brass Band, which is just like an insane group of like trumpets, saxophone, tubas, and then like they got drummers and then a singer, and they just like do covers of like pop songs but with like a massive brass sound, and it's just incredible. Like everyone's just getting very excited about this, and everyone's dancing around, and you're thinking, what the heck?
Yeah.
This is like a folk festival, and then there's this brass band, and everyone's loving it.
Yeah.
But they were
They're
incredible.
so good. That's every band nerd's dream. Like they're all such qualified musicians,
Yeah.
and then they're doing
Like,
this sort of gig.
classically
where,
trained, and then doing
yeah, they're
festivals.
all a bunch of band geeks just grown up in their jeans. It's nice.
Yeah, it was really cool.
All right, well, Miles, thanks for joining us. That's all the time I think we have. But thanks for your insights on Harvest Moon Society and music in general. We'll be glad to have you back regularly.
I would love to come back.
Hopefully for some sort of segment. We'll see.
Yeah.
Toying with some music with Miles names. We'll see.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
So this week we had some very interesting activity happening on the Wittenberg Door. We didn't have a contest this week, but obviously the Wittenberg Door is always open for conversation. And we had someone write a very interesting comment, and someone who's not even a current student, but was a former student of one of the previous schools that formed CMU. Claudia, what was written on the wall and from who?
All right, so this question comes from Peter M. Weeb, CMBC grad from 1967. He actually lives in Vernon, BC right now.
Oh, wow.
And in brackets at the bottom, he writes, the originator of Wittenberg Door. So that's fascinating to begin with.
Yes.
I'd really like to talk to Peter M. Weeb, maybe. I wonder if he's around or in Vernon, BC.
Yeah.
Well, he writes, without the hope of a resurrection in Christ, the belief in a simplistic salvation, in quotations, by decision, in brackets, is futile, exclamation point. What do you think and believe?
Okay, so yeah, I'm not entirely sure what to take away from this comment. I think this is definitely one of the most interesting questions to be put up on the wall in some time. Claudia, what do you think about this?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's exciting that someone has posted something like this.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't often expect maybe theological questions. I was more geared towards some sort of like social justice stuff.
Yeah,
but you know,
right.
This is great. I'm a little bit confused by what he means in the hope of a resurrection in Christ, because that can mean a multitude of things.
So is he saying that essentially our belief in a resurrection of Christ is futile, as in a bad thing? Or no, it's like it's not worth. It's hopeless. It's not worth. Okay, so it's not worth believing that he'll come that in his resurrection. Is that
right? So
is that what essentially he's saying? So then, how do we cope with that? Is that like?
So he's saying that we need hope. Without the hope of a resurrection in Christ, the belief in a simplistic salvation by decision is futile. So he's saying that you can decide to believe in simplistic salvation, but that won't be enough.
Yeah.
Unless you have hope in Christ, in the resurrection of Christ.
Okay, so he's essentially.
What do you think? I'm just trying to define terms here.
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't like when I first saw it. I was a bit surprised because I mean, just normally don't get a comment like that. But I mean, I was also just surprised because it assumes a lot about how a lot of people here on campus think, which is what I find particularly most interesting about it. I think, because I don't know. I think first of all, like I'm not someone. Obviously all of us here at CMU are minoring in BTS. But I mean, like, how many of us actually have conversations about this outside of classes, right? This is something that I don't normally think about. And so, like, my initial reaction when I first saw the comments, my initial reaction was, oh, well, I don't know if I agree with that. But I even thought even further, like, well, what do I actually believe? Because, like, to be perfectly honest, this is something that I just not think about when I go here. I'm mostly thinking about the assignments coming up. I'm mostly thinking about the work that need to get done, and mostly thinking about the episodes of Wittenberg Radio that need to get done every week.
Yeah.
I just don't normally think about Christ and his resurrection and whether or not we believe in that or not.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying that like it's initially like shocking because it's just like it assumes a lot about you when you first read the comment on the Wittenberg Door. But then like I think it also, unless you are majoring in BTS and you already know and you already are having plenty of thoughts about what you believe and how you deal with it, it also kind of makes you think about what do I believe in.
Right.
And I'm not sure. I actually, honestly, I have given some thought about it, but I don't actually have any conclusive thoughts about it.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe on a personal note, I've spent quite a bit of time wrestling with the resurrection as something that we kind of just take for granted as though everyone believes that this happened. And part of my my critical mind always seems to come and nip me in the butt a little bit. It doesn't really make sense that someone dies and then
yeah, right.
is alive again.
Yeah.
3 days later. And somehow you just like take that as a child and then you just keep on saying it and keep on thinking it. But especially for me when considering baptism at some point, I wondered if I could honestly answer to the question, do you believe that Jesus died and was raised for like the salvation of your sins? I was like, I can't say yes to that.
Yeah, right.
And then I was like, can I get baptized if I don't think this? And I had like this huge kind of situation on my hands. And I think that's something that we all, if we think about it, I think a lot of people would agree and would find that struggle within themselves as well. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's exactly what this person is referring to, but it's definitely worth exploring. And I think that there are many conversations that should be had about this.
Right. Well, I think also too when you're thinking about like whether or not you believe, and of course there's a lot of questions that come with like what do you mean by believe and like these things. Like that's something that that even our introductory BTS courses look over as well. When we talk about like whether or not we actually debate about whether we believe in this and Jesus' death and resurrection, or just even believing in God and like what He's done for us, I feel like there's always a certain leap of faith that kind of comes involved with that, because there's so much. I feel like a huge portion of faith, anyways, personally for me, is like there's just so much ambiguity and uncertainty,
so much mystery, and we're so uncomfortable with mystery.
And so I think like it's a situation of I don't really know a whole lot, but I'm going to take faith anyways. And that's like a very scary, and keep in mind that's not necessarily a comforting thing to do. That can be sometimes a very scary thing to do, because there's still so much you don't know. But some people will take comfort in knowing that God knows these answers, right? And if we follow Him, if we follow Him well, then we will ultimately be fine. And of course, I'm oversimplifying like crazy right here. Again, I'm not majoring in BTS, and I don't think about this very, very often. Yeah. But I think that especially in the case of like Christ's death and resurrection, like is the situation? Do I actually believe in that or not? I'm not sure. But I'm going to anyways, even if I'm not like I'm going to anyways because I have trust in God and I'm going to have faith in Him.
Right. And so in that sense, nothing is ever futile.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's strongly worded to say, the belief in a simplistic salvation is futile.
Yes. Yeah. Very much.
But wait, maybe it is. The belief in a simplistic salvation is futile. Because if he means by simplistic, like a literal, it's so hard to understand what he means by his words.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'd definitely like to follow up. Peter M. Weeb, if you're listening,
please follow up on this. Well, first of all,
out of 1967, that means.
Yeah. Like he must be a decently old dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome that he came. I'm assuming
he has a bunch of wisdom to impart on us youths.
Yes. I'm very happy that he came by to write on the door. Apparently something that he came up with.
Right, and I'd love to just hear that story.
Yeah, for sure. But anyways, to Peter, if you are listening to this episode of Wittenberg Radio, thank you very much for leaving your comment.
Yes,
we really do appreciate it. And we want to hand the question to you now, listeners. What do you think about this comment from Peter M. Weeb? What do you think about it? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Are you confused as me and Claudia are right now?
Yeah. Do you want to maybe provide some sort of insight into what he might mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Please do. You can leave a comment on our Facebook page or on our Wittenberg website, but also you can leave a comment on the Wittenberg door itself as a direct response to Peter. We're going to be leaving up his response there for the remainder of this week before taking it down, as what we normally do. We won't be giving out a gift card this time around. It's not a contest. This is just a random comment, but we would love your insight on it nevertheless. So yeah, if you have something to say, please leave it on the Wittenberg door or on one of our social media platforms.
of the cool things about Wittenberg, I think, is that we're constantly looking for new musicians or people within the CMU community that have some music that they would like to share, or other arts, poems and stuff, and cool things like that. Today, we have the pleasure of having Liam Martin in the studio with us. Welcome here, Liam.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's nice to have you. Liam is a first-year student who plays the guitar and sang at the coffee house, and we thought we've got to have this guy on the show. And he is going to sing for us, but first we'd like to know a little bit about who Liam is. How are you doing today, Liam?
Pretty good. Had a couple classes this morning and got some choir rehearsal this afternoon.
Choir.
So
you got two ex-choir people right here in front of you that are kind of grieving their loss of choir, but we move on. We have new fun things that occupy our time. Okay, so you are a first year. Why'd you come to CMU?
I'm here as a music student, so I knew some people that have gone through the program. Like, I had a cousin and another friend, like Nolan Kaler. I've known him for quite a while.
Yeah.
So, and they all really enjoyed their time here, and I also really liked the idea just of how small the school is. It's really kind of like a tight knit community, and because I was considering going to U of M, but I figured they're really just more of like a number in a computer system or whatever.
Right.
So
yeah, that's something across the board that I think a lot of people appreciate about CMU. You mentioned Nolan Kaler. Did you know that he used to host Wittenberg?
I knew he was involved. I didn't know he was hosting.
He hosted last year and the year before, I think.
Wow.
So we've inherited it from Nolan.
Nice. You got some big shoes to fill.
Yeah, honestly. you kid, but it's true. Cool. So you're a music student. You play guitar. Do you play any other instruments?
I used to play trumpet in high school.
Oh, cool.
I have a mandolin. I kind of play that a little bit. Other than that, then I just sing mostly, and now I'm required to learn piano, so
right.
that'll soon be in my pocket as well. Although mostly just kind of be playing Jingle Bells or something.
Yeah. Why do you want a music degree?
It's just because I'm actually in my third year out of high school now, so I really thought about what I wanted to go to school for, and then the more I thought about it, then it was just this is what made the most sense, because it's if I'm going to go to school and be paying for it, and I may as well do something that I'm going to enjoy and feel like I spent my time wisely getting an education. So I know some people, and a number of people that I know, they would go to school and they're go a couple semesters or even a few years, and then they decide, I don't actually want to do this. I don't really care about what I'm studying or whatever. So I just want to study something that I really cared about, and I figured that way I'd probably be more motivated to do my best and everything like that.
That's great. What did you do for the last 2 years?
I was working for all 3 years, but I worked in Altona for a year, and then I moved to Calgary for a little while. I have some friends that were living there, and they asked me to come hang out with them. So I didn't stay there too long because it was really expensive living there and stuff, and I didn't enjoy commuting to work. So that was my favorite thing about working in Altona, is I could just walk or bike to work. So
you're from Altona?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I could have asked that early on. Makes sense. I don't know. Cool. Well, that's all very exciting. We're glad that you're here, and if you want to get set up, I think we would like to hear a song. What are you singing for us today?
I'm going to sing another James Taylor song. I sang one at the coffee house, but this one is called Something in the Way She Moves. So it's another one of my favorite songs, so yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to that. No, scratch that. What do I say? I don't know.
Let's get right to it.
Yes, sure. Let's get right to it.
There's something in the way she moves that looks my way and calls my name. that seems to leave this troubled world behind. If I'm feeling down and blue, or troubled by some foolish game, well, she always seems to make me change my mind. And I feel fine anytime she's around me now. She's around me now, almost all the time. And if I'm well, you can tell that she's been with me now. She's been with me now quite a long, long time, and I feel fine. Every now and then the things I lean on lose their meaning, and I find myself careening to places where I should not let me go. She has the power to go where no one else can find me, yes, and to silently remind me of the happiness and good times that I know. Well, I said I just got to know them. It isn't what she's got to say, or how she thinks, or where she's been. To me the words are nice, the way they sound. To hear them best that way, doesn't much matter what they mean. Well, she says them mostly just to calm me down, and I feel fine anytime she's around me now. She's around me now quite a long time. And if I'm well, you can tell that she's been with me now. She's been with me now quite a long, long time. Yes, and I feel fine.
Wow, thank you again, Liam, for playing that. That was absolutely incredible. Liam also just played recently at the MPK Folk Fest last weekend, and his performance there was also absolutely incredible. So thank you again very much for coming on to the show, and keep your eye out for Liam. He'll probably be around playing his guitar and making people's hearts very warm.
That concludes our episode of Wittenberg this week. Thank you to Miles and to Liam for coming on and sharing their musical talents with us in different ways. We really appreciate it, and we are eager for any other performers or musicians or other linguistic creative people to come on and share their talents with us and with the CMU community. We would like Wittenberg to be a platform for that. So keep that in mind. Yeah. Have a nice week. So long from Claudia and Kenji at Wittenberg.
See you later, alligator.
Wittenberg Radio is a production of CMU Student Council. The views and opinions expressed by hosts and guests are not necessarily those of CMU Student Council.